All rise. Judge Vonda B court is now in session. Judge, this is the case of the Kennedys.
Thank you. You all may be seated. Okay, Mr. Kennedy, you brought this case before the court.
Yes, ma'am.
What's going on?
Welcome to another jaw-dropping courtroom showdown. Today, we're diving into a classic case of financial responsibility clashing with personal relationships. Mr. Kennedy is asking for more financial support to care for his growing daughter, but Miss Kennedy insists her CEO husband's wealth shouldn't be factored in. The twist? She's receiving a $500 weekly allowance, and just when you think it can't get more dramatic, a psychic subscription gets thrown into the mix. This case takes some wild turns, raising the question, who's truly in the right, and who's just making excuses? Let's dive in.
So I'm sharing custody with our 12-year-old daughter now, and I'm just wanting a little more help with finances because as she's getting older, expenses are getting a little higher, and sports, dances, going out hanging with girls, and yeah, I just want a little more help on my end. I'm paying insurance already. And,
okay. How much are you paying in insurance?
$130.
All right. And what is your daughter's name?
Autumn.
Autumn. Oh, what a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Autumn. Okay. So what type of expenses does she have that are increasing?
Yeah, so she's doing volleyball right now, and we're thinking that she's going to be doing that in high school as well.
Okay.
So just, athletic wear and then traveling, going to places. I want to go and support her and as well as her, but I'm the one having to drive and take her if I don't want her to ride the bus because I don't feel her safe doing that.
Okay. Is this a school bus or?
Yeah, it's a school bus.
With her teammates?
With her teammates, yes.
And you don't feel that she should ride with her teammates?
If it's really far away, maybe like an hour or more, I'll drive her. But, if it's 30 minutes or less, I'll usually let her typically go.
Okay. That's understandable. Okay. Is there anything else you want me to know before I move over to her?
She's just a growing girl, and girls are expensive, as they say. So.
I mean, we are. We have a lot of stuff that we need. So, yeah. Ma'am, is there anything you want to add or subtract from what he said?
Yes.
It's the age-old tale. Kids grow up, and so do their expenses. From sports and dances to social outings, it all adds up quickly. While Mr. Kennedy is already footing the bill for insurance, the real question is whether the financial burden should be shared more equally between both parents, or if this is simply a cash grab disguised as concern. Let's see how this one plays out, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I do feel that he's trying to take advantage of my new relationship.
Okay. Tell me about this new relationship.
Well, I can't really help who I have fallen in love with. So my new husband is a fantastic provider. However, I do get an allowance, and it isn't as much as you would think coming from, well, my husband's a CEO of an energy company, so you would expect a huge allowance, but obviously he has to protect all of his hard-earned income.
What type of allowance do you receive?
About $500 a week.
$500 a week, okay. All right.
So, which really isn't that big a deal. I mean, obviously.
That big a deal in terms of the amount of money, or you paying child support for the child living with him and having increased expense?
Well, I don't think it's that big a deal to Mr. Kennedy because he has a pretty healthy income himself.
But you do understand his income does not have anything to do with an increase in what you should be paying in child support, right?
Yes, I understand that, but what I don't think has been considered yet is the fact that I set aside furthering my education, though I wanted to pursue that, so that he could go get his MIS degree and then a master's in something. So I'm not sure that it's fair. I would like to consider all the money that wasn't spent on me that should have been spent on me while we were married.
Okay, no, that's not how this works. And sir, she says she gets a $500 a week allowance from her husband, and who is a CEO of an energy company. Briefly, how much money does your husband?
Here we go again. Miss Kennedy is implying that her ex is only seeking more support because she married into money. It's a familiar tactic, but at the end of the day, child support is about meeting the needs of the child, not about the stepdad's bank account. Will the judge accept that excuse? Don't count on it.
I'm really not sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's a lot.
It's a lot?
I think so.
When you say a lot, is it like in the 200,000s, 300,000s?
Well, the car that he drives was about 200,000. So I'm thinking you'd probably have to
You
make
only
more
get a
than that.
$500 a week. You know what? That's not my business. That's not the reason I'm here. I'm not going to even entertain that.
That's what I was thinking too.
I'll just move on. Sir, do you know how much money her husband makes a year?
I don't, but he's the Steve Jobs of the town of energy, so to say.
So let me ask you this. Are you expecting her child support to be based on his Steve Jobs?
No, his success has nothing to do with me or my daughter or our daughter. And like I said, I just want a little more help because she's getting older. And, if she's happily married with whoever and how big his wallet is, that is totally up to her.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that's not what you were doing because...
This is where things start to get really interesting. Miss Kennedy claims she only receives a modest $500 weekly allowance, but when her husband is cruising around in a $200,000 car, that small allowance starts to sound a lot more generous. The judge isn't buying it, and frankly, neither should we.
Anyway, but what we can do, ma'am, is make you pay more in child support because at this point you've been paying zero. Because from what I see, you're a stay-at-home mom, which is absolutely okay. But you do understand that your child has increased expenses, correct?
Yes, I do see that.
Okay, so after yes, I do see that, that means that I don't need any further response. So you understand that, right?
Well, how much are we talking about?
We're going to base it off that $500 a week allowance that you make. Okay. So, based on that, I have your gross at $2,000 a month. After you take out the calculations for the taxes, your net comes out to $1,662.53, okay? That would give you a child support obligation of $266. However, you also heard him say that he pays $130, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
In medical insurance for the child. You're going to have to reimburse that to him. So, in addition to the $266 a month for child support, you add the $130, your child support obligation monthly comes out to $396.
Child support? You're at $130. Your monthly obligation comes out to $396. Boom, the judge lays down the law. Miss Kennedy may have thought she could dodge financial responsibility, but the court isn't fooled. Based on her so-called modest allowance, she now owes nearly $400 a month. It's not exactly a financial knockout, but it's definitely a wake-up call.
Can I say something?
Sure, but make it brief.
Okay, well, I don't know if he's still subscribing to the same psychic, but she charges, I think it's $412 a month.
Okay.
And
what does this psychic have to do with these numbers?
Well, because I just feel like if he can afford the psychic, then maybe he can afford the insurance. And I guess I feel that that is money that could have gone towards my education while we were married. Okay, well, I've already said no to that. That has nothing to do with me. I mean, you should address that in your divorce, obviously. And whatever he pays, if he in a psychic, if he chooses to do that, that has nothing to do with your responsibility, your financial responsibility to your daughter. So if there's nothing further from either of you, you all are dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rise and walk out.
Wait. A psychic? Yep, you heard that right. Miss Kennedy actually brought up her ex's psychic subscription as a reason she shouldn't have to pay more. Unsurprisingly, the judge shut that down instantly. And just like that, the case was closed. At the end of the day, financial responsibility isn't about revenge. It's about fairness. What do you think? Did the judge get it right? Let us know in the comments. And if you're into drama-packed legal showdowns, don't forget to like and subscribe. For more,